patriarchy!
Namaste, Soul Circle!
I'm Steven.
And I'm Candice.
And we're from Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit, located in Toronto, Canada.
Today, we are discussing some of the goddesses connected to the new moon, or some would say, the dark moon.
The dark moon.
In fact, these goddesses are often considered the crones. A crone being a wise woman, someone who is not only using the light magic, but perhaps into the dark magics. Therefore, they can be either a hindrance to those they cross, or a blessing. With strong intuition and inner guidance, there is much to learn from diving deep within to retrieve the power of transformation. So let us dive into 3 of our favorite goddesses associated with the new moon, or
the dark moon.
Morrigan, Hecate, and Lilith.
So, before we get started, please be sure to hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell to be sure that you don't miss any of our other videos coming up this month as we dive into the origins and energy streams of prominent female power consciousness from all different pantheons of belief. You can find the ones that resonate with you the most and integrate them into your work. Dark moon!
Let's go! Let's start. Let's talk for a moment about why you would want to integrate a goddess or energy stream into your scope of practice.
I mean, there's so many different reasons you can, and these energy streams can look like so many different things. When we say the words god or goddess, some people have a lot of preconceived notions about these things. You can have a very traditional god, like a Buddha, Jesus Christ, these figures, or you could be someone who believes that the terms god and goddess could be just of the Greek or Roman pantheon, like those Roman gods and those Roman goddesses. Everyone has a different connotation inside them of what these things mean. When we're referring to the goddesses, we're talking about the energy that they can pull into even a meditation or a practice that can help further and deepen your connection to your circle, yourself, and that consciousness that you're trying to call in.
Yeah, it can be something specific too. I know a few people that call on saints. If you lose something, you can call on the saint of, I specifically don't know, feel free to put it in the comments, but I have I've heard people, I think it's a female saint when you lose something.
Oh, man.
I remember my friend's parents always
used to say
that.
It's like a little rhyme that you say. It's on the tip of my tongue.
So if you lost something, you would call on this saint and she would help you find whatever it is that you lost.
Yeah.
Your keys or whatever, or anything, just even in that moment. So I think the same thing can happen with the goddesses that we're going to talk about. You can call them for different things. It just isn't just any energy. It could be very specific.
Specific, honed energy based on what you're trying to achieve.
Exactly. If you're working with herbs, you're going to call on this one. If you're working with your menstrual cycle, you're calling on this one. If you're trying to have a baby, if you're there's one for
everything.
All of it.
You could probably find some kind of power consciousness that is appropriate for what you're trying to craft.
And that's why for us, throughout this series this month, we're only picking a few. There are so many.
So many.
And even the details within what we're talking about, we're making some short videos just to get people started and get their feet wet on the topic. But there's so much information out there, essays, papers written on these goddesses. So again, this is just we're just dabbling in it, just getting your feet wet in this. But there's a lot of information out there and a lot of different goddesses to cover. So
and a lot of different goddesses that actually correspond to different goddesses in different pantheons of faith. So knowing where the cross lines are, it's all the same energy and all the same work. So we're hoping we can uncover and demystify some of that one goddess at a time. All right, so why don't we get started with our first goddess? Take it away.
So the first one we're going to talk about is Morrigan. As a shapeshifter goddess of war associated with the cycle of life and death, wisdom, and earth magic, if we look back at history of Morrigan, it's important to understand the Celtic culture of her origin era, which idolized war and battle. It's also important to point out that women were also warriors at this time. We're talking 697 CE. Morrigan can be traced back to narrative texts written by Irish monks between the 8th and the 12th centuries. Even after Christianity replaced paganism as a dominant region in Ireland, her story can also be found in one of Ireland's oldest tales, the Ulster Cycle.
Her power and authoritative connection to the war of this time are evident throughout ancient texts. Her Irish name originally Morrigan, meaning great or phantom queen, but some people in modern culture just call her Morgan. Morgan can be seen as both a solo goddess or a part of a trio goddess. In modern Wicca, she's also known as the triple goddess, the maiden, mother, crone form. Frequently appearing as a crow, or literally draped in a crow-like hooded cloak, she can both be mischievous and a powerful seer.
She foretells of the battles to come and if they will be victorious or not, bringing out the bravery in those who are in battle, representing the land and earth of the people and sovereignty, the seer and the protector. Through death comes life. Therefore, calling in the powers of Morrigan, be ready to dive into some shadow work. Healing trauma and past emotional pain will be your journey. It's not pretty, it hurts, and it's not easy. But remember, Morrigan will also carry you up on her wings once you have dived into the depths of yourself. Call on her when you need to go into battle, emotional or otherwise. She is a healer and a protector.
Next goddess. Love this one. The gatekeeper. Okay, we have Hecate. She watches the crossroads that connect to the spirits of the dead. Many modern-day witchcraft practitioners consider her to be the mother goddess of witchcraft. Hecate's legend appears in Hellenic mythology, Homeric legends, and even in the Greek pantheon.
Her shadowy legend skirts the edges of Hellenic mythology. Hecate is often depicted as a woman in a long, dark robe holding burning torches, but also she has been depicted as a three-formed woman, all bodies standing back to back in order to see all directions and accompanied by a pack of dogs. You can call upon this goddess to connect and strengthen the bond of your coven, or for rites of passage.
For example, if a woman is to have a baby and transitions into motherhood, this is a good goddess energy to call upon. 3 stages to consider would be the maiden, the mother, and the crone.
Yes.
If there's a big decision to be made, place a black candle on an altar at the crossroads of these decisions. Call to Hecate for her guidance for which road to choose.
She's also a great goddess to utilize when asking for messages from those who have passed on from this life. She's also been utilized for exorcism. So if you need to free yourself of a demonic possession, Hecate's your girl.
She's your girl.
Last but not least, and by that it could just be an ex-boyfriend. Last but not least, any herbalism study or guidance with that specific work is also a great opportunity to call in this particular goddess power energy.
Okay, so here is one of my faves, Lilith. Now, Lilith can be a somewhat controversial figure. Some love working with her and others do not. Regardless, her energy stream is one of the most misinterpreted. So we're going to tell you a little bit about her and you can decide for yourself.
Okay, well, we love her energy stream and all that she brings to the circle because she represents taking down the patriarchy, which we are so
down for. Just
saying. The origins of Lilith go all the way back to Mesopotamia and Samaria, and her name roughly translates to demon wind spirit, my high school nickname. She was only given this name for her choice of freedom against the world of man. Burn down the patriarchy!
Okay, so let's explain. Let's dive into this. So
reel it in.
So Lilith is mentioned in the Genesis creation story and plays a big role in Jewish mythology. She was the first wife of Adam. Yes, that Adam, of Adam and Eve. It turns out that Adam didn't want a powerful woman.
If I had pearls, I'd clutch them.
So she began refusing Adam's request. For example, he only wanted to have sex in missionary in order to loom over her. Read about it, guys.
I don't hate missionary, but come on, Adam.
To loom? Even the Talmud states that Adam thought her menstruation was impure and dirty.
All right, well, I'm already packing my bag to leave.
All right.
Fuck that garden.
Also, Lilith wanted to be equal to Adam.
Oh my God. Because she too was made as an individual, whereas Eve was created from Adam's rib so that she could stay in her subservient place.
Ew.
A big pile of bullshit. set aflame.
Anyways, fast forward.
I'll bring it in.
Lilith needed a new man, so she fled Eden, and she ended up mating with the angel of death, as one does, and ended up spawning hundreds of demon babies. But you know what? When Adam heard this, he realized he made a mistake and asked God to bring Lilith back. But she refused. She literally told God no. Ha!
She was done with Adam.
Lilith was done.
It was boring missionary.
I'm sure you can see why we love Lilith so much.
Yeah, she our girl.
She's my girl.
The reason Lilith is so important in goddess culture is because she represents the opposite of the acceptable housebroken woman. That is Eve. Lilith seeks approval from no one. And that is the energy I can for sure get behind. Also, she is often depicted as a demon figure with twisted fingers and an old hag energy, but I believe that couldn't be further from the truth. More patriarchy, garbage, mumbo jumbo. Yeah.
In astrology, you actually may hear sometimes of dark Lilith. You can see that on the charts. And this actually refers to when the moon is in a placement that's the furthest away from the sun, which can be seen two different ways. Is it furthest away from the light and the bright, or is it free and independent?
Right. So when do you want to work with her? Call her in for empowerment. She was strong enough to escape the Garden of Eden because she didn't want to be Adam's kept woman. She wanted freedom and she wanted pleasure. Yeah, so working with Lilith, you are calling in one of the fiercest female energy streams. Yeah. If you're in a situation in which you feel dominated by a masculine energy, asking Lilith to be a guide can feel like a phoenix rising from within you to give you strength that you didn't even know you had. By working with her, you can heal sexual trauma, you can call in sexual empowerment, you can gain self-confidence, or even just asking for guidance and leaving a situation that you feel oppressed in. Yeah, different ways you can call her in include working with crystals like onyx and jet, really any black or deep red crystals, using plants like belladonna, nightshade, and wormwood, and asking her during the dark moon during witching hour is perfect. Also, Beltane, Samhain are all really great times to connect with her when the veil is at its thinnest. Really, Lilith is probably about as witchy as they come. Yeah, I love it. So, be sure to comment below and let us know which of these goddesses resonate with you. Who do you identify with? And make sure you come back next week for our Crescent Moon goddesses. So, hit like and subscribe to our channel so that you can find your way back to us. In the meantime, Arcana releases 3 videos a week, on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and on Fridays. On Mondays this month, we are discussing the different phases of the moon and how you can use their energies to manifest change in your own life. Wednesdays, we are going to continue on our moon sign journey. And Fridays, we're going to continue working with our goddesses, which I'm super excited, and obviously, we're pretty passionate about that. Pretty pumped up about it. Right, I can't wait for any of these. I'm loving this month and this content. We hope you love it as much as we do. So, many blessings, and see you next episode. Much love.